Hey guys, today we're taking a look at my Gem Knight deck. Now Gem Knights are pretty similar to Elemental Heroes. I'd say the only main difference is that Gem Knights are a lot better at kind of recycling and having advantage, so that's kind of the perks of using Gem Knights. So in my deck, I'm going to be running 3 Garnets, obviously a good beater, and 3 Obsidians used to fusion summon and then swarm on top of that, which is really nice. And then we have 3 Gem Armadillos, really nice that you can just, search out your Gem Knights from the deck and get what you need. Summoner Monk, great card in this deck, giving you access to XYZs. You could dump Gem Knight Fusion to, recycle things, and there's a lot of different plays you can do with it, which makes it a really interesting card for this deck. And then 2 Gem Knight Tourmalines, giving us access to more fusions and stuff. And 2 Gem Knight Lazulis, just giving us access to more recycling when we use him for fusion, which is really nice. And then we have 2 Gem Turtles, searching out Gem Knight Fusion, obviously a very important card, so good to be able to search this out. And 1 Grandsoil, just, as kind of a backup boss card in this deck towards the end. And then 1 Rescue Rabbit, just a really, really good card in this deck. Kind of like my other deck, if Rescue Rabbit wasn't limited, it would give this deck, even more potential, which would be really, really nice. For the spells, 3 Gem Knight Fusion, just pretty much a stable fusion card, but also the fact that you can recycle it is very, very nice. And then Different Dimension Reincarnation. With the recycling of Gem Knight Fusion, this is really, really nice to gives us access to completely additional plays. I just really think it can be very, very nice for this deck. And then 2 Pot of Duality, giving us some draw power. 2 MST, 1 Dark Hole, 1 White Elephant's Gift, just giving us some draw power in case, we need more plays, and sending things to the graveyard isn't that big of a deal. And Dark Factory of Mass Production, recycling those normal monsters from the graveyard, which is very important to, do those fusions. For the traps, pretty much stable traps, not too much to say there. So now for the extra deck, obviously we're going to have a bunch of Gem Knight fusions. So 1 Gem Knight Ruby can be useful in certain situations, and Gem Knight Citrine kind of locking down our opponent, which can be kind of nice. And Prism Aura, probably my favorite of the Gem Knight fusions, just because very nice to kind of blow up things on the field. And because you're doing all that recycling, it's not really a big deal to use up those resources. And then 2 Zirconia, just allowing you to get over things, which can be really nice with that really high attack. And 1 Gem Knight Diamond, just in case, kind of the boss monster of Gem Knights, allowing you to kind of reuse some of those Gem Knight effects and do some additional plays. Now for the XYZs, Daigusto Emeral, really, really good for this deck, allowing you to recycle things or special summon. Gagaga Cowboy, Lavalval Chain, really, really good for this deck. Obviously setting up the graveyard to do the plays that you need, and you can use Lazuli's effect. You can do a bunch of additional things with this. Can be a really good card for this deck. 1 Fairy King, obviously with the Earth. 1 Gem Knight Pearl, obviously can just help you get over things, which can be nice. And 1 Exciton Knight, 1 Silent Honor, just very useful nowadays. For the side deck, again, side decks in my videos are kind of just recommended cards that can also work with the main deck. These aren't meant to be, cards you side for matches. I just want you to think about these cards when you're building your own Gem Knight deck. So I've seen some people run Volcanic Shell, which is an interesting card, which can give you some advantage to do your fusions, which is interesting. Gem Knight Amber, you can add that in and do some additional plays, which is kind of interesting. Not really a huge fan of it, but can give you access to some other things. Box of Friends, you can run Box of Friends and run Sapphire, and you can run the deck a little bit differently to do some additional plays and bring out different fusions, like Aquamarine, for example. But I personally think that's not really the best way to go, but it's a different type of build, which is interesting, and I haven't really, tried it too much yet. You could also run Gem Merchant, which will give you additional attack, but it's really not that great because it's only for your normal monsters. If it applied to the whole archetype, it would be a lot better card, but it doesn't. And Redox can also be a pretty interesting card for this deck. Obviously, a lot of the Gem Knight fusions are 7 stars, so this will give you access to, summoning and XYZing and a bunch of additional stuff. So it can be a really good card. Obviously, for doing that, you'll probably want to run 7-star XYZs like Dracosac. For other spells, you can run Catapult Zone. Catapult Zone can combine really well with Diamond, allowing you to continually protect him and, also keep on bumping his attack up, which can be interesting. And then Foolish Barrel, obviously kind of like Lavalval Chain, setting up what we need. Other traps you can use. Grandsoil Prison can be really interesting, obviously to lock down the other things that your opponent might be trying to do. Very nice to run in the way of Synchros and XYZs. Royal Decree Trap Stun, because this deck is kind of going for those big plays, you can run no traps and run, those kind of cards, which can be interesting. Common Charity, another interesting one that could give you some draw power, but because we're running kind of a low amount of normal monsters, I'm not sure if I would run this. And Justy Break, again, kind of a normal monster support card, depending on how many normal monsters you have, so can be an interesting choice for this deck. So that's my Gem Knight deck. Again, just a fusion-based deck, a lot like Elemental Heroes, but just, again, gives you access to recycling and reusing a lot of the things you want to try to do and make additional plays, so can be really, really interesting. But if you guys have your own Gem Knight decks, you can post below. Let me know in the comments. You can talk about what cards you use. You can make suggestions for me, But that's about it for me. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you later.